Okay, we're live on my side. Let me know if everyone is ready. And let's just check audio before we get going and introduce the pod. Yeah, can everyone hear in the chat? Can you let us know if you can hear everyone else talking? Is audio okay? Before we get rolling, because we always get rolling and then we have to redo everything. How is audio? Do you guys want to say some stuff and see if everyone's sounding okay? Okay, one audio. Sergi's, or one mute Finn. Okay, hold on. Glad we checked. I think it's one mute Bunny.
Oh, we're all muted?
Okay, hold on.
I should
How
be
about now?
okay.
How about it's just me. It's my audio. For some reason my headphones have two audio settings in Discord, so even if I try, it's like always the other one. Do you know what I mean? How about now,
Yeah.
Sergi? Thank you for this, and then we'll start the pod. I keep calling it the pod, and my husband is always moaning at me. He's like, "Don't call it that. It sounds really cringe."
We
embrace cringe.
We love cringe.
Cringe is a good thing.
It's because I'm copying
Cringe is
Trixie
in.
Mattel. Trixie Mattel says the pod on the Bold and Beautiful, and I've completely stolen that. Good now. Okay, right. I think audio's okay. Okay, great. Should we start?
Yay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8, I believe we're on, of the Left Wave Transmission podcast. Is that right? My name is Louise. I run a YouTube channel called Matriarchetype, with something big upcoming, actually. But yeah, lovely to be here. Everyone else want to introduce themselves? So, Bunny, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Soul Bunny. And yeah, just one of the video SES on the channel, on the podcast, and yeah, I'll just keep it to that. Next.
Take it away, Finn.
Okay, hi, yes, I'm Finn. My pronouns are he, him, and I kind of sort of do YouTube sometimes, but mostly these days I've been doing this. I'm very excited to get into today's topic, but before we do that and finish up introductions, I do also want to quickly shout out and remind everybody that we are still raising money for the Al-Ashal family. We are still raising money for Amani and her children, and we are still raising money for Sophie and her family in the Gorham refugee camp in South Sudan. So we will be including those links, and if you are able to donate, please donate. If you are not able to donate, please reach out through their social media. Please actually connect with people, because there are other ways that you can help. You can help spread the campaigns. You can send them via DM to people. That's one of the best ways to encourage donations. And you can build relationships with folks in Sudan and Palestine and other parts of the world that are disproportionately impacted by imperial violence. So please do that. Thank you for listening. That's me.
How do you follow that up? I'm Bridget Empire, pronouns she, her, trans woman, YouTuber. Some of you will be watching on my channel. We're streaming on Matriarchetype's channel as well. If you want to pop in both of our chats, you can do that, and you can send us both super chats. That'd be fun. But you could also send it to the actual good causes that Finn mentioned first. Not that we don't deserve the money, but also other people probably deserve it a little bit more. And I make videos about politics and trans stuff and other stuff that interests me. Recently, Keir Starmer, Jared Leto, two men that I dislike for different reasons. Our distinguished leader.
We will get into it. Am I the leader? I love that. I've just added those links into the description of this on my side live stream as well, Finn. So well done for reminding everyone. Yeah, well, today, folks, we have a really interesting topic that's just kind of blown up. And we were just saying before in the prelude to this, we're all really excited to start with it. So maybe for a change, we start with the big topic first, actually, because I think we're bursting at the seams. And it's probably going to come up midway through anything else we start talking about. So then it will just be a hodgepodge of stuff. But we're going to talk about the Hank Green. I've called it a scandal because I'm for the drama. And then we'll get into real politics. It'd be exciting to also talk about the Abdul El Sayed and Haley Stevens thing that's happening like right now. So maybe we'll talk about that later as well, and what Bridget mentioned. Yeah, it's exciting.
Sorry,
But
I'm losing my shit about that.
Oh,
I really like Abdul El Sayed.
Yeah, me too. I have a little bit
He's great.
to say about Pretty Privilege and like making fun of people's appearance, though, which we'll just throw that in there. But anyway,
That's valid. Yeah.
first and foremost, though, let's talk about Hank Green. I actually have notes. Look at the production value, people. Look at the production value. I've got 4 lines of notes. But so, does anyone want to like start? Is anyone bursting at the seams to open up? Or does anyone not know what's going on? Like, what's the vibe?
Louise,
Vibe
you
check.
have notes. Go for
Yeah,
it.
clearly you're prepared.
Okay, let me do a little presentation, girly pop presentation. Okay.
Should we check if we all know? I mean, have we all been keeping up with this story? Because I know that I have. Because
I was going to say, I might not have known the full
It's a
thing.
good
So,
question.
Bunny, do you know what's going on with Hank Green?
I just learned about it yesterday, so I mean I got the gist of it and I understand. I mean the gist is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward and it's kind of sad, but I'll let y'all lead this one because I was just watching on TikTok people breaking it down.
Yeah.
what I will say about the straightforward thing is actually like there's a whole bunch of where he said like this is why I used AI, and then said like 5 different contradictory things depending on where he said it.
So this is, I have noticed, like, I definitely don't think I know everything, and I would be excited to like hear what we've all heard, because I think that's also interesting about a specific topic like this. I am the same. I thought it was kind of a one-time thing, and then I was like, okay, a bit disappointing, but fine. Then the more I looked into it, I'm like, oh, okay, there's so much more to say. Like, I think the Tabernacle was the first time I noticed it. He is always on point. Like, I'm sorry, he's like the beacon of truth on the left. Like, if he says something 9 times out of 10, like, it's gonna be 3 days later that everyone starts talking about it. He's always on point at that. Friend of the show. I've just declared. But so I'll say what I've seen, and then my notes, and then I'll like I'll usurp the floor. I'll give the floor away. But so Hank Green was the first kind of thing people noticed was midway through one of his kind of clipped out videos of him just talking to a camera. He used a very well-known AI prompt, which was, and thank you for the pushback, in midway of a sentence. So it was something like, and blah 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 science, blah 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 interesting fact, and thank you for the pushback on that, blah 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 science fact. We already have notes from the wonderful.
It was even more AI than that, because he said, and a better way to phrase this, and thank you for the pushback.
Oh,
so, like,
okay, you're right. And a better way to phrase. Oh, I didn't even notice that bit. Jesus Christ. So okay, but so even at that point, I was like, okay, is it really a possibility that he didn't just say that almost in tongue in cheek? Like I might do in what I'm like ad-libbing, like make a Trump reference, or like, you know, do some kind of thing. And then I thought, would it have got through editing? Would he not have? Fine, so many different things. But no, it turns out because of this, people started to then ask like, hey, do you use AI in your videos? And I think that was for me when the looking underneath the rock and we realised like how bad things were. Turns out he's fully like an LLM addict. He needs to like stop using, you know, AI generated language models. And so I have a couple assets that I'm going to throw up on my side of the live stream. Bridget, I'll read them out, but they might not show up on yours. I'm not sure how it would work. But so we have, can people see this on the live stream? Hopefully you can, but I'll read it out anyway.
I'm just going to look at yours for a second because it'll make it easier.
If that's okay, I'll read it out so your viewers won't miss out anything. I just don't know how to put it on Discord. But so YouTuber Hank Green has paused uploading on multiple channels after admitting he relies too heavily on AI, which is something I have something to say about later. But the quote says, I need to come to terms with the fact that the level of dopamine I've been getting from interacting with LLMs is not healthy for me or good for the world, which I have so much to say about because that's crazy. That's like a whole, that's different to like cheeky chat GPT edit. That's like an addiction to interacting with LLMs. And then his tweet, he said on the 30th of July, originally when people started to ask about the AI prompt like language in the script, I produced this under a ton of pressure. So I went and checked my process from start to finish. I did use, so we had to check and see if we used it at all. I did use Chat GPT for research on this script, and watching it, I definitely get an AI feel. So I think it's fair to say I was relying too much on generated notes. That's a thing I've been doing, and it's a bad habit at a time when I've overcommitted myself. But I just went to the notes and the script for this, and neither contained the "I appreciate the pushback" line. So that particular moment was an ad-lib in reference to my guest pushing back on me saying the words are purely made up, which there is so many levels of what to say about this. So first and foremost, I'm going to just say my bits and then I will shut the hell up because I've been talking for about 3 billion years. But the fact that he had to stop uploading on all channels, now not to be too conspiracyist to me, is like, that tells me he's been using AI in a range of ways, or potentially, in my opinion. Because as a creator, I think we can all agree here, if you were using AI on one thing, you would just not publish that one thing and you would continue everything else. You would even, for example, if I did something bad on my main channel, I could use this podcast as a way to be like, oh, hey guys, this is what happened, like on the podcast. The fact that he's dropping it on all channels is sussy bucker to me. The fact that he's talking about using a phrase that is generated in LLMs as an ad-lib also tells me how much he's interacting with that. He's almost like taking on the speech. If it wasn't in the script itself and he's saying it just kind of came out, tells me like, okay, so you've been chatting to these LLMs, like you need to get some friends. But then last and not least, I'm sure we'll come back to this, I'm just going to say it because it's on my notes. Hire a team of people. Stop being a greedy capitalist and using free LLMs, and hire some people to do your script work for you. You are 3 million subscribers big. You know, if we can all manage it here on our scale, like, hire a team. There's no excuse. This is ridiculous. Like, the fact that he's got videos saying, I'm worried about AI, I'm worried about the bubble, and then is using them to generate more money is outrageous. And then also lastly, like, it's Hank Green. We come to him for science and expect the truth and facts, and AI is just slop, and it's just generating more slop against it. So no excuse. Really disappointed. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna like mute and not talk for ages. please someone else say something.
Louisa, just before you stop, you've seen the Reddit thread as well, yeah? The
no,
Reddit
see,
post
no.
that you put on.
I haven't even seen that. So we got loads of things to cover. Jesus Christ. No, yeah, go ahead.
I'll find that in a minute. Finn, you can go for a second.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I am also not familiar with that, and I need to know more about that. I wanted to just roll off what you were saying there about him being this person that people turn to for science and facts and like carefully researched material. I also want to call you out on apologizing for talking about things on a podcast. Stop it. But anyway, side note. I'm not a Hank Green hater. I'm not a big Hank Green fan. I am familiar with Hank Green because I exist on the internet. I've enjoyed some of his videos. I haven't really liked some of his other ones. I don't watch him religiously. I'm a pretty normal guy when it comes to my relationship to Hank Green. But part of what really bothers me is that he has built a brand of being the science person. And I grew up on Bill Nye. Like, I was one of those kids that when I walked into science class and I saw the little TV tower there and I could hear, like, walking to class, if I could hear that, like, ringing sound of those old TVs, I was just like, oh my God, it's Bill Nye Day. I get it. I understand how motivating it can be to have a science hero. But one of the things that really, really bothers me about him and people like him is that it completely throws expertise out the window. People are like, oh, this is the science guy because he has a brand as the science guy. Therefore, we're going to ask him about things that aren't his area of expertise whatsoever. We are going to erase all of the expertise of people who do specialize in things that he doesn't actually understand. And rather than regularly referring out to those people to build a network of knowledge, he just leans into the brand as the guy who, like, knows all of the science stuff and understands science things and talks about science. And so it's not surprising to me that he would turn to AI to basically, like, build his knowledge network rather than refer out to other people. It's like that's kind of been his whole model for a while. And I know that there are going to be Hank Green defenders who show up and they're like, well, he had on this expert and this guest and this. Please engage with the point. Please just engage honestly and realistically with the point. Y'all take his word as law when it comes to science. He's not a scientist in absolutely every field. That's not okay. You shouldn't be doing that. We need lots of people coming together collaboratively to get better understandings of things. That's how knowledge works. That's my piece. That's what I wanted to say. About that, I have more on AI, but I'll wait.
I mean, he's not a scientist in any field if we're being real about it. But like, yeah, no, I agree with you. Like even his
Very-
background, like I believe he's a master's degree. Yeah, he's like a master's degree in like biochem, I think. But yeah, anyone in any field is going to have weaknesses. But I think this is a deeper, and this is a thing that I will probably write a video about, and I've got like an outline for it and stuff. But my thoughts aren't quite formed yet, so I was really hoping I could speak to you guys about it because I think this is sort of emblematic of like the wider problem with science YouTube and educational YouTube in general. Is that at a certain point, to professionalize it to the level where he's making multiple channels with multiple teams about everything, is at some point you're going to cut corners. And so what he's done here is he has multiple teams, multiple channels. He has Sideshow, Complexly. I don't know if he's still in Crash Course anymore. His Vlog Brothers, writing books, all that stuff, the companies that he runs, the merch business, I think he still runs as well, and a bunch of podcasts.
Crazy.
And he has the teams for all of that. And quite often the teams make a lot of mistakes. I have like a whole long video about the time where he said that where they were talking about HRT, and he basically said that if you want to, that non-binary people should like just block the testosterone if you're like assigned male at birth and do nothing else, which is a recipe for osteoporosis and other fun things like you should block your testosterone by using finasteride, which doesn't block testosterone, and other lovely things like that. So he's clearly cut corners before. Other people in my chat have mentioned the knitting video as well, where he sort of came on and said like knitting, basically no one knows how it works, and everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
We know how it works. And I got on a little bit of heat on social media because I sort of linked it back to this and said it explains a lot of this stuff. And I think people thought that I meant like he's definitely using AI for this. I mean, he might have been, but at the same time, like that's not the issue so much as the AI. It's the willingness to cut corners in your research and to be like, I don't need to look this up. I am the science YouTube man. I can just release this. People trust what I'm saying, and people shouldn't trust what anyone is saying on the internet 100%, especially if they claim to be an authority figure. You shouldn't trust it. I am here. You don't trust me. Look things up for yourself. You know, that goes for all of us. That goes for all of us. And it's really annoying to me. And this is the problem: is that people go and they're like, "This is the science guy. He'll give me the science." And if what he says is always true, and it's not, and it really discourages people. I think this is another problem with influencers and influencer culture being linked with education. Is that people are like, well, this is my guy. This is my parasocial guy. He never lied to me. That shouldn't be how education works. And I don't really know how we separate that, but it just doesn't work right now. Sorry, I will stop ranting.
No, you're
I
absolutely
swear to
fine.
God, if someone apologizes for speaking on this podcast one more time. First of
Somebody-
all, that's just appropriation. I'm the Canadian here, and that's not
Yes,
not
I did
okay.
that.
Who do you think
that's
taught you
enough.
to apologize, Finn? We're British.
So, Bunny, you go. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was like really just like kind of like coming from what my knowledge with Hank Green is, like some like old school YouTuber who's been around longer than all of us. A couple of our channels combined still is not as long as how long he's been on this platform. So someone like you were saying, like, this is the science guy. This is a guy you trust. He's done his research, and also knowing like we all know, like, he has multiple channels that he runs. He has 3 million subscribers on at least on one channel alone. To me, like the thing that comes to mind is what got him to a place to even feel comfortable to do this. Because from my last memory of him, was I think he came on TikTok bald and said that he just came out of from radiation therapy from having cancer, and then beat it. And so now I mean I'm recognizing him with his hair now, all his hair again, and this is when he says controversy. So I'm just like, I just come to mind like, okay, if he's just a YouTuber, like is he? That means he probably doesn't. I don't know what his his healthcare plan is or whatnot. If it's out of pocket, is his tax bracket, whatnot. Did that cancer treatment or whatnot really dig into his pockets because he was potentially living above his means until that happened, and then that dug deeper? And is he now he feels like he's in a place where if he wants to catch up to where he was prior to all the money that was spent on curing cancer or whatnot, or what other things he probably is juggling. I don't know how the lifestyle he lives. He's probably, that's another thing. He's doing this to maintain a lifestyle while probably, I mean, he feels like the only way to maintain that lifestyle is cutting corners. And cutting corners is one of those corners cut. And so that's like kind of what it comes to me. I think about like, how does a person get to a place in that? And yeah, so maybe I'm giving him more faith, not faith, I'm giving him more plausible deniability. Not saying like, I'm not saying it's right or anything, but like what got him to there? Because like we all acknowledge he easily could pay for a script writer. The way that like we are nowhere their tier, and we could hire a script writer if we really wanted for our videos.
Yeah.
But the amount of revenue he's bringing in, it's so minute. Like, why would you feel? So it's just, yeah, I just think, yeah, there's greed. There's definitely greed, but what led to that? And is it a little bit deeper? Like, because again, like we don't know, is his house even paid off? Does he have his fancy cars? Is he married? Does he have kids?
He is
Like,
married.
maybe okay, maybe in his
And he has
mind
kids.
he's just like, I'm gonna justify it as a father, and I have maintained my household and whatnot. You know, this is like the kind of like, maybe this is more psychology aspect, but this is, you know, how did you get to a point where you know people don't like AI, especially in the science space? Everyone knows that. And what was your situation? Because that isn't what's being said. He's not forthcoming. If I think people, it wouldn't be as, it still would be a massive deal, but it would not be as big of a deal if he was more forthcoming and more honest about his situation, and like, led him to that. And saying how he's gonna like go back and go and pay for script writers if I need help and whatnot. That wasn't what had. He gave just excuses, justifications, and then you find out when, because I saw about the Reddit post thing, because I saw multiple people cover it, so I did see the Reddit thing. Yeah, it's been a while, and it's, to me, maybe also he probably lost the passion in the work. He probably just sees it as a 9 to 5, clocks in, and as long as he gets out, I think he was going to do it until he got caught. And you know,
Yeah.
that's it. Like Ghostbusters.
It is interesting actually that you bring up the medical angle, because I think because you're American, like a lot of us don't think about that sort of like that can actually really put you in like that trouble, because obviously over here it'd be like free. There's a level to which I don't think that would affect it. I don't know him personally. I don't know if it really, because it can cost a lot, right? But he like runs multiple companies. He has like best-selling books. His brother's like a multi-millionaire because of all that stuff. Obviously, like he made Fault in Our Stars. It's massive success, like the book and the movie. I think he's probably doing quite well, but I don't know. Like it could be, and that could be the case. And he does have a wife, and he does have kids, and maybe he is worried about that. There is the thing, and that is though that John Green and Catherine, his wife, are both very anti-AI, and I think he did mention that in the Reddit post, is that they were sort of really helped him the wake up call. And as far as I know, he's been talking about it before. There's sort of some evidence that he used AI to like code this game that he uses, basically like a Wordle alternative and stuff like that. And there's other stuff that he's been doing it with. And like in that Reddit post, he does like lay out the AI policy for Complexly, I think it is, and a bunch of the other stuff. So there is some stuff that you can use AI for certain ideas and things. I think in general, yes, I agree. And there's like people don't come in out of nowhere. And it's not also not just him. It's the nature of building anything that becomes a content farm is you'd cut corners. And if this is a corner he seemed to want to cut, for whatever reason. And if he did get in financial trouble or whatever, it makes more sense that he would.
I would say though, like, I completely agree that there might be a monetary justification as to why he did it, but I don't think that justifies him doing it. To me,
No.
not to try and be like leftist of the week, but that is greed. Like that, like
Yeah.
the level of money that he has. There are many people with families and medical bills that don't use AI to cut corners, and like there are people that use it and like that's kind of fine if it's for safety and for like to sustain themselves. I agree with that. But like the thing, he doesn't need to be using it. If he needed to, if there was some logistical reason why he needed to survive, like that's a different conversation. Like he is being lazy and greedy. I'm sorry. I'm calling a spade a spade. Like somebody said, like we could hire script writers if we wanted to. We have a community where we check our scripts between each other. He's probably got an army of fans that are small creators as well that would love the experience. Not to sound like a bloody neoliberal from 20 years ago, but like they'll do it for free for the experience. I work for Hank Green. Like there is no excuse other than not trusting anyone else's opinion because you think you're too good. Honestly, I think there is that. And also the money side of wanting the money himself. But the hypocrisy for me is that he has videos recently that have done really well about saying, I'm really worried about AI. Is the AI bubble going to burst? Like, are LLMs real? Like, and has clearly, I think what my alleged opinion is that like he has dipped his toe into the poison well to see what it's like. And he thought to himself, well, I'm one of the intelligent ones. I'm not going to get addicted to LLMs. I'm capable of interacting with ChatGPT and not think that it's God there talking back to me, and has found himself in the same position as everyone else. And something that left me feeling with all of this, the feeling I was left with is like, if someone is as intelligent, he's a very intelligent man, someone as intelligent as Hank Green can get effectively addicted to LLMs to the point that you have to take a break from them, then like anyone can. Like, do we all remember the like the woman that fell in love with her psychiatrist and was like interacting with LLMs that called her like God and the Oracle, and she went full psychosis on TikTok. Like that, like these aren't just pieces of technology to interact to. Like I think there is an element of like real danger behind them, but the thing is, he should know better about that. He should so know about those dangers more than anyone. And then he fell into it. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, that's my extra 2 cents.
The one thing I push back on about that very slightly before I'll hand it over to you, Finn, in the 30 seconds. I'm saying that he's not as skeptical about AI as people are starting to make out. I think recently he started to try to, because he's seen the pushback. But there was a video he made like not that long. I don't know if it was that long ago, but it was basically saying that he like Claude is sentient and like it's really scary and it's about it can do all this stuff. And there's a very big scare story thing about. I think the Surfs talked about this like yesterday. And just before I remember, while we're on the subject of the cancer thing, one page at a time in the chat says Walter White mindset. Jesse, we need to ask Grok to write a science video, and I've just been laughing at that for 5 minutes. Sorry, Finn.
Don't apologize. In fact, thank you for that pushback. But in sorry, in all seriousness, this goes back to that whole like believing your own brand thing. Like the reason that I kind of wanted to couch the other stuff in that is like one of my primary concerns is that he seems to genuinely believe his own bullshit. And now here's the thing. I think like to a certain extent getting through life is a little bit of believing your own bullshit, right? Like you have to have some sense of self, who you are, who you're presenting to the world, etc. Like we're all telling a story of ourselves, right? When you are a YouTuber, when you are a creator, especially when you're someone with a platform, any kind of platform, let alone one that's massive, I don't even know what that does to your mind, but it's got to do something wild, because I don't even like what being a small platform creator does to my mind. It's part of the reason I haven't been making as much on YouTube. I'm like, I don't like being talked to like I'm a brand. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with the fact that YouTube is structured in such a way that it turns you into a brand. I'm not interested in being one of those. I am a flawed, three-dimensional human being who changes with the context, who is constantly learning stuff, who is not an expert in absolutely everything. So that's something that really gets me about this whole thing that's going on with Hank Green, is that you have branded yourself as the science guy, and you fell into an addiction to a technology that is objectively horrible for your brain. That is base level understanding of how AI impacts other things. Like I'm not an expert in AI. I don't know much about like the actual technology of LLMs. I know probably more than the average person because I hate it so much, but that's not my specialty, right? I'm going to defer to people who are experts in that particular in that particular thing. Like Aronok would be a really good example of someone to turn to who's like an excellent has fantastic expertise in AI and LLMs and machine learning. But for
We
me,
should get her on one of these days. That'd be good.
Hell yeah, I love
that would be
Arnold.
great. I would love to do that. And this is, even here, I'm not a neuroscientist. I was studying neuroscience for about 4 years. I was interested in becoming a neurologist, so I am no slouch, but in these days it's more of a special interest. And so for me, when I was learning more about AI, I went through my special interest. I went into like my area of past expertise. And what I learned was horrifying. What I have learned is like this is all the research that I pulled up for today is it doesn't just not engage your mind with new learning, it makes you less intelligent in general. It makes your brain less effective overall. I don't like this language, but the only way that I can think to describe it is it makes you dumber. Like it makes you less good at thinking. This is very scary, and this is something that a science guy should fucking know before he goes around using a technology, promoting a technology, acting like it's an okay thing to engage with. And so I don't want to make it sound like, he did the worst thing ever. Like, honestly, it's kind of refreshing to be able to get upset at a white cis man who just like did something. He used AI to write a video. Like, wow, it's so nice. At least he didn't, like wasn't sex trafficking and isn't secretly a Nazi. This is very
I mean,
refreshing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not Jared
But
Leto, thank God.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, God. But yeah, that's my rant on
Well,
that. Like it's awful for your brain, and if you're promoting yourself as a science-based person, you should know just that's like a 20-second Google search, my dude. Like that's very, very simple information to come across.
but he must know these things. Like I think it's like Sol Bunny quite rightly just said. Like almost a part of it gives. He's checked out. He's burnt out. He kind of doesn't care if he gets caught. I mean, the fact that he went from I've been found out from using AI to not uploading on all platforms, it gives like maybe this is what he wanted. Like I'm just surmising. This is just my
Looking
opinion,
for an
but
excuse to bounce.
yeah, fully like
Yeah.
the Ned Fulmer
He
wanting
has
to
been
get
going
caught
for
cheating on his
years.
wife
Like he's
vibe.
one of the oldest ones on the platform. It's crazy. Like doing multiple
Yeah,
things a
he
day.
is an
And I really
OG.
like when Soul Bunny did say that, like actually like he gets used to a level of this is how much I bring in, even if it was still a lot before, if you're used to that and your outgoings being that much, even if for most of us that'd be an insane amount of money, I imagine it must feel really weird. Not to like
Mm.
empathize with the like super rich guy who's using AI, but it does things to your brain, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that as expenses have gone up for everyone, costs of living, just
Yeah.
basic necessities, food, whatnot, even power, electricity, especially. I mean, I don't imagine he's too well off to live near a data center to be impacted, but um, there's probably certain things he's noticing that digs into his wallet, and if he wants to still make the same amount, he has to cut these corners to maintain the inflation and income wise. I'd imagine that math was done in his head to justify. I mean, that I think that was his main justification, if anything, is just trying to counteract inflation. So he cut workers, he cut people he probably would normally help him, right? And he went and maybe he had to say like he had like two writers. I doubt he has any now. I really don't. But say he had two writers. Imagine you fire two people you would have normally paid one or two people, and you're just going. That is immediately like income back. That's especially for that tier. That's thousands of dollars a month you're saving on that you have the money to spend.
Mm.
But maybe he's making his slush fund to make sure when he retires, he's had enough money to retire him and his family, and where they'll be able to live well off and live off the ad revenue of videos he's uploaded years ago. Because he's such a big channel, he'll still get enough views. Well, he'll stay in the creator program and still get little whatever checks he gets. But you know, I imagine they're not going to close down their Patreon. They're going to let people slowly, manually unsubscribe.
Well, yeah, this kind of connects to what so Lisa, a gamer in the chat, is saying that he hasn't been downsizing; he's been a continual growth mindset. I think it is sort of
I was
linked to him
just gonna
being like a
highlight that
liberal. Is that
comment.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah?
Well, and the elephant in the room was also
Sorry,
the fact
go
that
on.
using AI and generation models is soaking up water and resources from other like countries. That like, there is still that underlying issue that the libs are still fine with. But sorry, yeah, carry on.
Can we move to that topic? I'm done with hate green. I want to be so real. I am done with that white man.
Fuck Hate
We've
Green,
talked, no, but let's get to sorry. Sorry, I just spoke for myself.
Can I say one more thing before we move on? If we're about to move on, because I have one more thing I want to say.
Go for it.
Okay, I think in general, and chat. I know this is very ironic for me to say, given I make like 3 videos a month. People should make less videos that are more well researched. And I say this for myself. If I was getting paid more, if I was getting paid as much as Hank Green, I would not be posting 3 videos a month. Like I would be, I would have time to actually like one of the reasons I do what I do right now is like I can minimize the scope to a bit where it's okay. Like I'm not doing like massive stuff with that. If you're doing something that big of like it's meant to cover like a whole science topic, you need to dedicate the time to it. Like I really narrow things when I'm making stuff frequently, which is why when I put out a big video, it tends to like you don't get another one for 2 weeks. Putting out multiple things, multiple channels with multiple things every week, even if like SciShow and all this stuff, he has multiple people with it, you don't have time to check that shit properly. And it's bad. Like this is why content farms are bad, and especially in terms of science. But Hank, it's fine. You've been going for 20 years, mate. You got a book, you got royalties. You could probably retire now, right?
I mean, just one like final thing to add to this, like well, somebody was saying, I agree, but the point that if you have had this much of an empire and you've made this much money and you haven't done financially sensible things to live sustainably afterwards, then there is an element of you've lived out your means. Like, I'm sorry, like then you shouldn't have bought that bigger house. You shouldn't have had that many treats in the world. There is the majority of the planet will never see that much money in their lives, even at the scale of a channel with 1 million views. I'm sorry. Like you don't have to continue to do all of those things. He's got merch, he's got books, he's got multiple channels. Like it is giving greed. I'm sorry. In my opinion. Someone that has like a total fucking like we live in a shed in the woods. Like it gives like heart of the empire, like, you know, just one more car daddy. Like yeah, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm happy to
liberalism.
yeah.
I think the problem, like the reason why, like that comes to mind about like his living above his means, because he's like, I'm from California, I'm in California. That is like the most common thing we hear about like the mainstream big YouTubers. They think their following is always going to be there, the money's always going to be there, so like they can just spend their money like handfuls, and you don't. So, and there were only certain creators are able to still make it the way they used to. So, but yeah, I mean, I think back to 2016, 2017. That was the era when people buying mansions as YouTubers, and then quickly Adpocalypse happened. That was a very short window. It was 2016, 2017. You remember Jake Paul, Tana Mojo, every creator, they was getting a big ass houses. So and knowing someone that makes the kind of money he says he's probably moved to his second house and sold the previous ones. So if even that, so like that's what I think. Like he could have been living above his means, where he's just consistent. This money's always gonna be here. It's always gonna be consistent, and then just like expenses went up, and his lifestyle still the same. Lifestyle probably grew. When you grow a big corporation business, you have. I can't also forget, he's probably, remember, when you make that kind of money, you start thinking of tax exemptive things. He probably would rather not pay the taxes of paying someone, but all that kind of stuff, than just him just doing the chat GPT. That is one thing he doesn't have to tax or worry about. Again, like they start getting to, I mean, that's how a lot of these rich people stay rich, is they find the ways they can slash and cheap. Like that's how they stay. Like so yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm seeing this time and time again. I think back to the 2020 like COVID relief funds, where people who did not need those relief funds. Businesses like Jeffree Star was taking crazy amounts of money when knowing damn well they don't have that kind of staff. They were Mr. Beast lying about how many people he had hired. All the people ran with that money. So yeah. I just use another way rich thing. I mean, that's why the rich is pushing the AI the most, because they're going to benefit from it the most. But going back, let's get to water that the AI is taking. There's one thing I just really wanted to get off my chest about that, is that, you know, as we just recently heard about them buying rare books.
Yeah, I was going to say about the books.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy.
We're getting to a point where, when is it ever going to be enough? When is it going to, like, the point is like, they're rushing and they're doing this all in, and it's happening so fast where we can't, like, we couldn't react verbally, well, not, but as far as like physically mobilized reaction, like, these politicians are just rushing the shit in. They're not asking the populace, the citizens, none of that. My fear is, like, people are going to care and do stuff once it's too late. Once they already installed everything, once the water's dried up. I mean, we just saw the Colorado River. Y'all haven't seen the clips of people standing in the river and they're on rocks. Dry as fuck. And it's meant for 7 states. 7 states is supposed to use that water. And you know who's buying... That's what I mean. It's almost like, to me, my biggest fear is like they're trying to artificially start a water war, and there'll be a bigger gap of haves and have-nots. I feel like they're escalating this fucking climate crisis because they know they'll be fine, and it is one way to kill us all off, and then them just go revert what they can. I don't know. They probably don't care. They probably don't give a damn. We don't. But the point is that they're escalating. I mean, we've always talked about, like, the shortage of water way before we knew what data centers were even a thing, like that. These AI centers, all that. So it's just like, this is artificially inflated, and they're just rushing it. And it's just like, so it's the water, it's the books, it's the fucking electrical grid, the amount of, like, this is not sustainable. And resources are finite. They're not infinite. And with the way these tech people, like, it's like, my biggest fear is they're gonna create a situation that's gonna, like, we're gonna have to, like, suffer from sooner than later.
We're suffering now with this heat, right?
We are.
Already,
there are countries out there already going through desertification.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's things that are like, where, like, these First Nation world countries where they don't give a damn until we're impacted.
Yeah.
It's just, if water is life. Water is life, and the reason why they're using water is simply for one reason. It's because it's a cheap resource that we have a lot of. That is literally the only justification why they're using water as equivalent and not anything else. Because it's cheaper. It's just like so I'm not going to say anything publicly that I really want to feel and say, but, like, I'm putting out the sentiment that, like, when is it enough? When is it? It's like, once they've already installed their surveillance slate completely to usher in a new era that we know nothing about.
I mean, what's the really scary thing? It's a really scary thing, because I feel like 10 years ago there was this whole thing about, like, people, like, loads of people, like, buying, like, water futures, and it's like, we should be fucking scared about this, and no one acted then. And this is one of the reasons stuff like this scares me, because I feel like people, not just Hank Green, but people with this kind of ideology, especially sort of his age, sort of post-Cold War, sort of real tech fetishists, where they really, any new technology is inherently good and will always be good, and they can't see what is happening behind the scenes, because there's so much like, oh wow, look at all this new tech, we're going to be able to do so much. Like, well, you can't do so much, you have no fucking water, can you? And there's, like, a whole thing about, like, even, like, the people that starting to, like, protest against data centers and take action, they're already being so vilified. And it feels a lot like Palestine action stuff to me, where, like, the people who do pay attention, they start acting and all get, like, sort of finds excuses to, like, silence them or, like, throw them in jail or, like, put them off. And then people will ask, well, why didn't we do something sooner? It's like, and the people that tried, they don't have the time to do it. It's crazy. Yeah.
And just the fact that, like, so firstly, the fact that it's now, you know, an environmentalists and watchdogs are calling it water bankruptcy. It's not a water shortage, it's not water pollution, it's water bankruptcy. Like, this is, once it's not just, because water stays in our atmosphere. It goes through a cycle. When you use up water, it will cycle back. The way that data centers use water pollute the water so that it cannot be reused. It is much, much harder to clean if it is possible to clean at all. They are consuming it so that it goes away because these people operate like, and this is the thing, they operate on this like scarcity mindset where it's just more, bigger, bigger, use up what's there to create something better. And it's just like, I'm gonna I'm getting wooey again. Y'all missed last week when
Yeah,
Louise and I went
I was
like
gonna say
full woo.
braiding the sweet
Yeah,
grass.
yeah, yeah. But it's true though. Like these, I genuinely think these people, these tech oligarchs, they have a sickness. They are not well. They are not well. We are being like they have a spiritual illness. They have an emotional illness. They are stricken with greed and they are destroying the planet because of that. And I think we need to start talking about it in those terms. I think we need to start being honest about the political corruption. We need, you know, like here in Canada, we have Mark Carney's AI for all policy. And we don't want it. We don't want it. If you find anything that the vast majority of Canadians agree on, that's pretty unheard of, right? Like there are some things that, you know, like for example, the Alberta separatists really love to pretend that this is, you know, like a very popular topic that most people want to separate. Most people, even in Alberta, do not want Alberta to separate from Canada. That's the polling is very clear. When it comes to AI, most Canadians don't want AI everything. Most Canadians don't want data centers. Indigenous nations as well don't want data centers. Like these are not it's not debated. This is like a thing that everybody largely agrees on. But Mark Carney and his liberals are still pushing it out. They're still like, oh yeah, aren't we doing these incredible developments for everybody because this is what you want? No, people are telling them we don't want it. We don't want any of this shit. And they keep talking to us like we do because they serve the oligarchs, because they serve the tech industry, because they don't actually give a shit about any of us. And something that I want to end on, I need to find the name of the speaker. It was something that I heard, I think, listening to CBC Ideas, great podcast. I was actually advertising another talk, but it was from a man he's a member of one of the, I think, northwestern indigenous nations. I'm not certain which nation he's part of, but he quotes his father, who says, "I don't know about God, or if there is one, but I look up at the sky on a starry night and I'm filled with awe, and that's good enough for me." And he expands on this and says, "And what I want to ask people is, when is this enough? When is this enough, what we have?" And I just think that we need to, by any means necessary, we need to stop the people who, this is not enough. They have this greed illness, and they will consume and consume and consume until everything is gone. Sorry, that wasn't very hopeful. I'm usually trying to keep it hopeful.
No,
but like,
it's not a hopeful situation right now, you know?
No, it's not.
This is exactly it. And like, to just briefly tie it back to Hank Green and then move on, but like, this is the issue with the neoliberal kind of woke centrist mindset, is that they still have that innate expansionist greed in them, and they're not, I mean, we're all brought up in our generation to just be like, you know, work really hard. The harder you work, the more you get, and the more you get, the more you can afford, and the more you can buy, the happier your life will be. Like, that's fundamentally like not necessarily how you need to live, and some of us have understood that in our adult years, some of us haven't. And like, that is innately why we are where we are, because all of these corporations have just been told, expand at every rate you can, expand. The AI bubble, we have to grow enough that we can justify how much we've grown, which is fucking messed up. And that's why we're in the mess we're in. And like somebody said, that we're using up so much water that it's not sustainable. But not to add woo plus revolution, because that's like, who knows where we go from there. But that's why then we have people like Peter Thiel that have overtly said, government, we need to move past government. We need to have corporations in charge. Like they are trying to move past a system in which there is even a democracy. That's happening already. And so as the oppressed, as the people underneath that hierarchy, that are the, peasants in this kind of system, like, we're looking at our democracy being taken away, and there are going to be, like, people, like we've already said, like, wars fought over the resources left. The billionaires are building bunkers. Like, I don't know how much tinfoil hat I need to put on before starting. So that's really fucking scary. The billionaires aren't building farms and solar energy and expecting to, like, solar punk through this revolution. They're building bunkers. So, like, for everyone that can't afford a bunker, like, we should be really fighting back, like, what's happening. Like, it's a crazy situation. Like, I think that it will be too late by the time people, the masses really start to, like, push back on it in a way that will be needed. I hope that we get there. But, like, this is why conversations like Hank Green using AI in a video is, like, it is worth discussing, because, like, it's the, I hate to say canary in the coal mine because that phrase gets thrown around so much, but the normalization. Right? Yeah, but it's the normalization of, hey, this resource that's going to affect other people that I can't see, I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to use it for my monetary benefit. Like, that mindset, it's the colonizer mindset, really, isn't it? It's like, we have to call that out when we see it, because that's why we are in the mess we're in.
I think the other problem, the reason why a lot of regular people don't care, particularly, I'll speak to just Americans in a sense, is that they've already defunded education. They've already dumbed down most of the American populace decades ago, but further defund it. It's the people with the 6th grade reading levels using ChatGPT happily. There's people who do not deserve to be in college, who do not have what they need to be in college, being told you have to go to college or you have to go to this type of college and whatnot. And that's why, like, when it was coming up for me in school, like telling us we shouldn't use it, and I'm seeing people in class, oh, I can't use it in this sense, and I'm like, why would you even ask that? You know how dumb you look saying that out loud, like, in class? Like, you're not ashamed. And then I just realized that, oh, you don't even, like, it was a white person that I was talking about. So over here, DEI hires, I'm being called a DEI hire, but but yeah. So because we have, I think they created the perfect situation where they know the populace is dumb. They know they would rely on there's more people to rely on it that enjoy it. The old people love it. The boomers and the silent generation. It's kind of eerie how they're just like, they're the ones like, oh, look what you could do with technology, and we're like, this is evil. This is bad. But
it's upside down world, right?
Yeah. So it's like everything. From just the average American having a 6th grade reading level, the new the Gen Alpha and the youngest of Gen Z, who I almost feel like are a little too young to be considered Gen Z, but there is a cutoff, which is 2011. Them kids are all using ChatGPT. Kids that can't afford tutoring, Black and Hispanic kids in America using ChatGPT as tutoring, as that's what I mean. Like, it was a perfect situation for them to come in, introduce this type of technology that would go and cause all these long lists of things. I mean, Peter Thiel literally moved his family and himself out of America to Argentina.
Yeah.
He just recently did this. So he knows the fallout's going to happen. He just won't be there. He's going to a richly place. Argentina's really rich with water and forest and green. When I think Argentina, I think green. I think so green. I don't think desert. You think green. A very green South American place. I mean, it's also near Brazil as well. So, similar climate. So, yeah, I think because we're in a situation, we're fighting against idiots. We've been in this situation, and because there's more dummies than there is people with critical thinking skills. I mean, and the government, Reagan, I think of like Ronald Reagan, for example. People like him, decades ago, they knew this is what they wanted to happen. They wanted people to be so dumb that they weren't going to fight back. And now we live in that reality in America. If you're an American, you live in America. That is what we live in. Other countries, y'all have smarter populations. Here, not only so it's like
We are not smart,
draw
Sylvia.
Don't know
I'm
about
sorry.
that in the UK.
We're also dumb as fuck.
The UK are also just having the same problem in our own way. Yeah. And
down. So no,
One
it's
thing.
just
Oh, sorry.
no, yeah, oh, yeah, y'all keep going.
The one hope injection that I do want to throw in here is that they definitely, yes, the neoliberal project has been a targeted effort to take away people's critical thinking, to deny people education, to do all of these things, and I mean it. I don't know if anyone's read One Nation Under God by Kevin M. Cruz. Very dense read, very informative read, very informative read. It's how corporate America created Christian America. Their goal has been to make people less educated, to make them more religious. Those two things do tend to go hand in hand. So our religious people, if you're tuned in, you already know that, right? The one thing that I'm kind of clinging to and reminding people at every opportunity is that yes, they can take away people's access to education. Yes, they can take away people's, they can damage people's critical reasoning skills. However, they cannot fight millions of years of cooperative evolution. They can't fight the fact that human beings want to belong, we want to get along, we want to cooperate with each other. That is our nature. That's why they lean so hard on fear. Why they like turn people against each other using fear is because if they can keep us divided, they can more easily control the narrative. They can control what we're doing. They can control the access to resources that we have and what we even consider valuable resources in the first place. So I keep reminding people in these conversations that even if you're talking to someone who doesn't have good critical reasoning skills, if you're talking to someone who's not very smart, it can be frustrating, yes, but smarts aren't necessarily what is going to create the change that we need. It's helpful. I'm not going to deny that. We need people who are intelligent, people who are good planners, people who come up with ideas. But more than anything, we need people with heart. We need people who are united. So I just wanted to like squish that in there. That
Yeah,
for all of the
I
worrying about the
definitely
lack
agree.
of
yeah.
no, go on,
I
please.
totally want to say I agree. Sorry, I want to cut you off. Sorry, I
No.
totally agree, and that's so important. I think like I don't want to be a doobie downer. Like that is the I guess in a tactical sense, this is one of the obstacles we deal with. But also like it's still our job to help these people get to the finish line to understand. Like for example, I feel like one thing we can do to help them learn is by electing progressives. If we're in a way, it would be our way of forcing the hand of them to understand why it's wrong and having people that actually fight. So I think my biggest fear is like I don't feel like we got to 2028. We need to get them. So I feel like this midterms, for at least in 2026, we need to get them these progressives elected now, and hoping in the next year that there's a bunch of special elections of old people croaking. Sadly, but if we get enough croaks, that's more seats, and every
It's
special.
right. You should say it.
Yeah, I would say about 80% of the special elections when it's been a croaker. I was sorry. We have a croaker. I was speaking in what's it called in code. But anyways, when you have croaker situations, croaker special elections, the Democrat
I like
I
that.
would say, but the left leaning person usually wins. And because in America, I've been imagining in the Britain as well, but I'd imagine understanding that like we have a lot of retirees. We have, right now today just finished the deadline for which I think this is my way to segue to the next topic. But
I've been
today's the
watching.
deadline.
I've been impressed at the
This is the
segue.
deadline for what's it called, Mitch McConnell. So now they're basically because it was till August 3rd. It's August 4th. Now they can't call that special election till next month because it's the Senate is in recess. They're on break, so they don't come back till September. So he has a whole month to say, "I am better. I did this work like that. I just bumped my head."
I can't believe Mitch McConnell died tomorrow.
That's also another thing that. But that's one thing I still think it's probably, as much as I would love it to be that, I'd imagine they're waiting for September to give him some extra time. But anyways, I'll see. I did not say his name perfectly. I'm super sorry, but his race is today. His race is going on actively right now against Zionists, and the
Is this?
most.
Is you talking about
Sorry.
Abdel El Sayed versus Haley
Yeah,
Stevens?
Abdel
Yeah,
El Sayed.
yes,
Abdel
I
Sayed.
said it
Yeah,
so wrong.
Abdel Sayed.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank y'all for correcting me. But yeah, that's happening in Michigan right now. As of today, that primary race is going on right now. We should. Can
Yeah,
we
what are the
pull up
scores?
the data right now? What are
I
the
will
votes
just.
looking like?
I'll look. I'll try and find. But you know what?
I was
While
just
you're
going to
looking,
creep
I'll
his
just
social media.
Well,
yeah,
actually, while
while
you're
you're
looking, let
looking,
me.
I'll just throw in a little bit because I was just about to say because we were running on a bit of a downer note, so I think we're going to try and pull it back a bit
Yeah,
because this
I've
is
got
hopeful.
something good to
I
say.
agree, but I was about to sorry. Like because like one thing you said, Solbin, is to think that it's like we don't have a lot of time. I think one of the interesting things here is that I think from what you can see, especially the way that these special elections are going, and with actually public sentiment on AI from young people in general, generally it looks like the tide has actually turned way long ago. People fucking hate AI on a mass scale. Like boomers
Yeah.
like it, but the general public are against it. So it's against the will of the people, and if they have a say, they will do it. Which is one of the reasons it's quite dangerous for them to push all these data centers. Because if you make the issue we want to build a data center, you're going to get a lot of people voting who wouldn't normally have voted for, say, Abdul Al Sayed. You know, and that's to our advantage. But I think it does give us an element of hope in that there is a backlash, and the backlash will favor us in the long term. I say us. I don't know if I don't know what I'll say. I don't know in the future. I shouldn't own him. But you know what I mean.
No, yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of where I'm sorry. You go. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to add another positive note. So you go first, and then I'll go after.
No, add your point. I'll add after you.
Oh, well, I just want to say, like, I forget to say this because it's always in my head, especially when we're talking like witchy woo woo sections. But like, I do think that the people will always prevail because we have the power, we have the numbers, and more importantly, wow, Louise, words. More importantly, the more we're pushed into a corner, the stronger we will get. I'm sorry, I'm saying it, Luigi Mangione. Like these people, it's actually so easy to take action. Not that I condone anything. Allegedly, in my opinion, all of these provisos. But
he's
like,
innocent, so you're not saying.
I mean,
anything.
he didn't do anything. Yeah,
He didn't
no,
do
but
anything.
like,
yeah.
what we have,
Still looking for the guy.
it's just a matter of like being pushed into a corner. Things will happen, and I do fundamentally believe that will happen. I think we are part of nature, and nature is always searching for an equilibrium rather than an extreme. So like, we will just push until things work out. But like, what I'm trying to also do, but like, to get there, we have to get motivated, and to get motivated, we need to understand how bad the situation is. So it does. I do think we need to embrace the negativity before we can get motivated and emotionally charged to act on it. Like, and I feel like there is a responsibility to bring up these things. When we talk about Hank Green, we relate it back to the limited resources and the people being affected in other countries on purpose, because like, otherwise we'd all be like, maybe this is my like living in Japan-ness of it all, but there is a real like opium state of the country in certain things. Like like people don't know about certain global issues in the same way, and so like bringing them up and talking about them still has like a huge effect, and they can be really helpful. Like, it's been actually really odd to see how important Palestine has become to Japan, because it's like kind of an outlier. It's like, cool, Japan's like actually really doing still protests every week about Palestine. Great, this is great to see. Like, so yeah, I think bringing it up and talking about it is still important, but I am fundamentally on the belief that like the people will succeed. They always have, they always will.
You also said something there, Louise, that I really want to highlight, which is remembering that we are not humans defending nature; we are nature defending herself.
Yeah.
I just I really appreciate that framing specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, more people should throw Sam Altman a drink. Shout out to that guy.
Maybe a Molotov drink. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, delicious.
Sergi just asked in my
spicy.
chat. Guiding question: is there a component of not wanting to know? Yeah, I do agree. There is an element of like people burying their heads in the sand a bit in certain issues. Maybe, yeah. I think like with the perforation, is that a word? Why do I just try and use words I don't know? How about we fucking don't do that? Who am I, Hank Green? With the,
I think perforation applies. So sorry, go on.
Cool, thank you. With the like increase of social media, I think certain issues are becoming more apparent. So, which would imply maybe people do want to know, they just don't. but I don't know. But good question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a populace that are the ostrich that put their head in the sand because some people will call them cowards. I would just say they're afraid.
Yeah.
I think they know
Valid.
stuff is happening and they're trying to maintain their level of sanity. That's the only way they know because they
Mhm.
aren't educated enough on things. And so they have this big fear of the unknown. But moving past that, what I want to
I have a
say
great
before I
example.
forget, this movement, like we're on it, like I can like because this election as it's live going on,
Yes.
you know, you got people looking at New York, you know, Mondani, who's every month there's new policies where these people that kept saying he was going to fail and whatnot is succeeding, and now they started looking a little jealous. You know,
Yeah.
they put a 1 year ban on AI data centers in the state of New York.
Yeah.
Something that like, which is oh my god, but yeah, they pushed it
Someone
off
just
for a
keeps winning.
year. But that shows that people don't like that shit, and they're like, right, they're right, like
Mhm.
we don't want to deal with this right now. Let's just, we'll meet you. But see, the direction they're at least giving them time to react, time to organize, time to sign petitions against it, etc. He just came out with a 30% discount on certain groceries at the grocery store. That's for people that have EBT grocery. He's doing these services and things that is showing that and he also had all these candidates that he endorsed, all of them win. So as people are sitting in their delusions, denying that socialism doesn't help, mind you, it's only Democrat socialism. It's not even full on socialism.
Yeah.
They're going to be seeing New York, and then they're going to probably be seeing Michigan as well, having a different shift. And I think another thing that we can't forget is like as these midterms are going on, also this is the time for the school boards elections. Who's running in your city, your mayor, a lot of these things, in America, as just in America wise, is happening all in November. So I guess like my goal is to get people, especially with this video that I'm about to come out with, is to get people to voter turnout like they never had before and fully look at everything, fully pay attention. And again, the school boards, that matters. You got to like, you're gonna have to learn, and I think, and people are gonna have to make the content, the accessible content for them to be able to learn easier. For people are gonna make content of like who's people on your school board and your city, your town, etc. Who's running for the chief of police, etc. Like etc. Who's like, those are things that like data systems that we need if we want to effectively take back the power of the vote, if we're going to use it to the maximum to clean house, because it's not just in the federal government, it's top to bottom. We clean out the bottom, it's easier to get more to the top, especially. And that's the one thing that we have the most power, and especially that we can quickly affect, is our local government, that I feel where we are still advocating people to not forget. We keep trying to get people to not forget your local government, because you have people. I mean, those are the people who are going to help bring in policies that the federal government's not going to implement. So it's just like, if
It
we
affects you
work from
more.
top to bottom,
Definitely.
yeah, it makes, yeah. So we, from this moment, this year to 20 and onward, but I want us as a group, not as a group, but like as people, to be working on this, to and not like get activated 2028. You know, this is the time. There's a candidate you really want. Right now, potentially AOC's, like, you know, the way she's responding to questions of she's running,
Yeah.
potentially running. I say, talk to people as if she is, and bring the hypotheticals to them. Are you going to vote for her? If you give them, you have, this is the time to have those hypothetical candidates. And if they don't know AOC, that's the time to educate them and show them. But these are the time to have those conversations. So they put that in the zeitgeist, that okay, when she comes up, it's not a surprise. We've already done that groundwork, because this is something that liberals have been criticizing leftists on. Like, they're like, you only care when it's the election year. You don't do the groundwork. When we do, we just then we'll have enough of us doing it. And so we're gonna get more of us. And so like right now, like
Or billionaire money,
realistically-
right? That's the difference. That's a big difference, right? Is the amount of money behind it.
No, most definitely. And I do think DSA is going to get more money. That's the one thing. As much as I'm
Didn't they just get like someone just
Not
died
a
and left them like
Democrat
$5 million or
socialist.
something? There was like a thing recently.
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
It was Mitch McConnell.
sadly,
He's been
in
playing.
America,
He's been playing both sides the whole time. He's the Laris of the Democratic Party. I do think, like, springboarding off what somebody's saying, like we've seen with Abdel Said, I think we're going to see a three-party fight. It's going to be the left-wing side of the Democrats, the centrists, and the Republicans. And I think the centrists and the Republicans are going to start teaming up. Like, we've seen some of the, like, establishment Democrats kind of fighting for, like, oh, I'd rather the Republicans than this far-left party. Like, but what I think will be really interesting, and this is me being optimistic for a change chat team, is that, like, I still think the leftist populist is going to win and have more votes because like it is just a much more wider like all of the things we've talked about, data centers, education, money out of politics, anti-APAC, like I think that's going to be quite an overwhelming thing to witness. Like I do actually think AOC could win the presidency, and I think that AOC as a president in America would ripple out and affect the entire world. Like we have a female PM in Japan, but she's the Margaret Thatcher of Japan. She's like more, she had to be so right wing to get her, you know, position as a Japanese woman in this country. It's like
she's a female patriarch.
She's like controversy on legs. Like it's quite a whole.
I mean, she just broke the economy, right? So she's basically just Liz
She
Truss.
did a Liz
but
Truss.
Japanese.
She did. She literally did the same policy as Liz Truss, but with just carefully in front of it. And we can talk about that in a second.
They tried like making her fight a daikon. I feel like maybe she'd lose to a daikon. This could be fun. Something you could do.
Daikon's actually a very sturdy, so it's like an unfair fight. Like to be fair on her, like those fuckers last ages in the fridge. But anyway, to not get mixed up, but I actually think this like that Abdul race is a key example of how like the money that AIPAC has fueled into Hayley Stevens' policy has worked against her because she has become so unlikable. It's become a meme. They've memeified her own downfall of like, Israel comes to me in my dreams. Like that, it just you can't.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
I've actually never done it before, so this was my first attempt, and I went in hardcore. And you know what?
Israel came to you, and you know you had to say, yeah.
Came to me in my dreams. I'm sponsored by APEC and AI, but like you know, and this is the will of the people, and I'm so hopeful. I am hopeful. I know I come across as such a doomerist. I really do, and there are times when I am Miss Nihilist on my phone and scrolling on shit, but I do think like leftist politics is much more popular.
I do find it very funny saying I'm very optimistic
shifting.
after basically predicting like universal John Fettermanism. like the Democrats and Republicans about to become one. It's like, yeah, it's just John Fetterman. John Fetterman's everywhere.
Yeah.
Finster, you were gonna say something, Finn?
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I don't think it's doomerism at all. I think it's being realistic, and also like I do think this is gonna sound silly, but the vibes have been off for a very long time, and the vibes are shifting in a good direction, and I think we all kind of feel it. And now, granted, it did take the world literally being on fire for a lot of people to start taking it seriously, but it's things are moving. Like more people are waking up to these things. Like I'm having more conversations with other white people about colonization and anti-black racism and things that like just to know of their existence and like have them validated in a conversation would have offended these kinds of people into silence and defensiveness and shutdown just a few years ago. Like things are changing, and I recognize that some of that is just the spaces that I move in and the way that I approach conversations with the knowledge that I have. Sure, fine, but there are plenty of people that I normally would not have been able to have these conversations with that I can now have these conversations with. Like people are waking up. Things are changing.
I think, Finn, you're picking up on something really real, especially after, I mean, the Palestine thing definitely really helped, and then data centers, obviously. Yeah. But the thing that we're not mentioning here as well is that the Iran war is ridiculously unpopular just about everyone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Trump really fooled a lot of people by thinking he'd be like a peace president. And I think this is really showing people their ass. And it's really starting to get a lot of people to consider like, wow, we really fucked it this time. And there's a
He
bit of
made it too
delay in Europe,
obvious.
but in America for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Especially if Hormuz remains closed, there's going to be a massive crash later on.
Louise, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just googled the poll, so this isn't the actual results, but 8 minutes ago, an article from Caroline Sola says polls show El Said with a significant edge in the Michigan Senate primary. I just got goosebumps. Oh my god, I'm such a little excited girly about it. That's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. Sorry, just live up. It's just polls, but yeah.
I just need to point out very quickly that can we talk about the fact that this change is we're seeing this around a man named like a brown man named Zoran Mamdani and Abdul El Sayed in America.
I have to say something about
this is happening. Like this is shit is changing. Shit is changing.
It does feel like the post-war on terror madness is sort of fading a little bit, right?
Well,
yeah, people are waking up.
I think that also what's happening is you have a generation of people that aren't brought up with that innate racism, like our boomer parents were. Yes. But we're seeing the overt Islamophobia. It's like coming out. It's like all of these, like, you know, people that want to say it are like making these memes about Sharia law coming to New York and like extreme just racism, just unadulterated Islamophobia. And it's like they're lashing out. It's like the snake. When you poke the snake, it's like lashing out. And once you can see it, you can break that down way easier. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's happening. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're just a racist piece of shit. I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
Manufactured it is.
Like, you've like memed, you know, Al Sayed in a Trojan horse bringing Sharia law, and you've got Bernie Sanders and AOC inside the Trojan horse. Like, what is this? This is just boomer garbage, you know, like, so I think that that's helping us quantify it and call it out and be like, okay, you're just racist, like, what the hell? And then also, like Bridget was saying earlier, Zoran is just continuously winning in New York. It's just www. Like, and people are looking across the pond and being like, oh, I wish we lived in New York. This is just so great. And like, it's not hard to put two and two together. It's like, they're good. Like, there's just, I do think a huge change coming. I really do. But like, and you were saying about the Iran war not being popular, especially like here again, bringing the Japanese element to it. Like, the Japanese oil reserve was really quite scary at one moment, and Japan has always been kind of America's lapdog politically in so many ways. But it showed like America is not going to care about anyone else. So then all of these other countries have just been forced to kind of care for themselves. And I think that detachment from America being in this core stage as a country in the world is also going to be quite a catalyst. Like, I don't think the US dollar is going to be the main currency for very long, like things like that. But all of these little things are starting to, like, kind of domino effects are starting to happen, and then maybe we will see somehow we get to a leftist communist revolution. I don't quite know the link in between, but we'll work that out when we get to it. I'm just giving you vibes and ideas.
Consciousness does give you a space where like it's more acceptable and stuff like that, even if, you know, you have to get the people ready. Like, I mean, there's been a stage with like AOC have already been around already making, and like Bernie like before, being around and making like socialism less of a dirty word. Like, there's stages to like getting like acceptance from the public to this 100%. And getting rid of the stigma from multiple red scares, which I don't know if we talked about NSPM 7 on here. True. Because I've been missing the last few weeks, but they're trying to win again for this very reason. And, you know, and if AOC does fail because she sabotaged from above, a lot of people will be like, you know, but we know that she was popular, and it's going to really quench that appetite's going to be there even more, in my opinion.
They're trying so hard.
They are.
They're trying so hard. And what's so funny is they've hit the point where, like, what I was saying before about Trump is he made it too obvious. He made it too obvious. Now, I think that people would have been shifting in this direction regardless, because, like, again, that like growth and expansion and consumption approach, like the just capitalism, it's not sustainable. It's not regenerative. Like, you're gonna hit a wall eventually. You can't. There is no such thing as unlimited growth. But I think that, like, even had Kamala won, things would have been trending in this direction. But if anyone in the United States would like an example of what it would have looked like had Kamala won, just look at Canada. Our centrist neoliberal shithead won over our overt bigot. it's not as bad as it could have been. It's still bad. The work still needs to be done. It's just that it bought people a little bit more time to wallow in apathy. That's really all that happened, right? Like it's the same thing. But the attempts to bring back the Red Scare in this context are very, very funny to me because it'll be like, oh, communism is when sharing. Like it's becoming more and more obvious that it's so contrived, it's so desperate, it's so made up that it's like, they'll say, oh, people want Medicare for all? Well, that's socialism. And what that sounds like to people who are dying from preventable illnesses because they can't afford healthcare is, well, socialism sounds pretty fucking dope, actually.
Well, it's
Like, let's get some socialism. That sounds great. They've gone too far. They broke the illusion already.
It was like that Fox News thing when Zohran Mamdani was first being like in the running for being elected. They like put all of his policies on the board and they were like, these are some of the crazy ass things he wants to promote. And it's like, feed children. Like, shit. It's like, is this satirical? Like, no one could, whatever you call that, like, it's good. Anyway.
Did I ever show you, or
It's
did you ever see this,
embarrassing.
Louise, when you were in Britain? There was this thing when Corbyn was running, and there was this article that said like, Jeremy Corbyn supports free school meals. Is this the nasty face of Britain's Labour Party?
Yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah, I think I just ran out of battery on my thing. No, exactly. It's farcical.
just-
One thing I want to say before I forget is that like
Go ahead, go.
I have to remember like the world is watching this debate. Also, the debate on us, not debate. This primary starts in 30 minutes. But the polls like they close the doors in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the percentages are going to be counting.
Yeah.
So they're going to start counting the votes. So I will. They're 2 hours ahead from where I'm at. So it's 6 o'clock. It's 6:30 p.m. where they're at. So I guess the doors close at 7 p.m. and or whatnot, and then we'll have. So yeah, we will know. You'll most likely know if he's in the lead in in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because they
important.
usually are done counting by like 10 p.m. They stop counting, so you get usually they're done by 10 p.m. usually, and if not, they follow the next day. But you kind of already see what it is by the time it's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Let me see, 10 p.m. EST. Say 10 p.m. EST.
Right, it's like 4 a.m.
I've got
British
all-
time.
I've got all day to watch it. It's only 8 in the morning here, so I can edit our pod and just be like keeping an eye on it. I'll let you know.
I would say you would definitely know by 2 p.m. then. You would know
Yeah.
by 2 p.m. By noon, by the time it's noon, you already you'll see like a big, they've been counting votes. So yeah, I feel
It's
like
important.
this is going to send a big message. If he actually gets to the finish line and beats the most paid out APAC, because not only is it that as well, is that the DNC is $5 million in debt because of the amount of money they were using to go spend to go against progressives that they've overspent. So that just came out, I think, last week. That news came out last week. They spent so much, they're $5 million back, and so they got to do that extra evil fundraising. But it's becoming more expensive, and for losing battles, for battles they're losing. So that's the funny, for battles they're losing. So yeah,
Sorry to cut you off. I just, you saying that, it maps on in a very poetic way to the United States depleting their munitions and they're out of long range missiles, fighting the Iran war. Like we're seeing it in multiple different examples that they have thrown everything that they have, and it's not enough against the power of people who are fed up with their shit. It's not enough. It's devastating. It is devastating, the kind of damage that they can do, the kind of harm that they can cause. It's not enough. They can't win. They can't win when people remember that we have the power. I unfortunately have to go. I have hit my time limit, and I have to go do a bunch of things and not be constantly checking the polls.
I will be poll
regarding,
checker. I will. Yeah, I've got all day.
Thank you.
Well,
I say I shouldn't be, but I'm gonna be doing it.
But it is huge. It is
We
important.
could wrap
and also,
up mostly anyway, because I
was
actually
gonna
probably lose
say,
soon
yeah.
as well, to be honest.
Let's go that. Let's do that. If he does also win against Mike Rogers as well, that then sends another element of the progressives are the future. Get with it, and then we will see that centralistic. Sorry.
Also,
Yes,
Corey
Soul
Bush.
Band.
Corey Bush is
Corey
racing
Bush,
today
yes.
as well.
Yes.
Corey Bush.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't
She needs to
you
win
got
her seat
two
back.
strong- Okay.
Is it today as well? Oh my god. I will
It is
check them both
today
out.
as well.
Well,
Them turfing her out was genuinely fucking evil. Like I was
Yeah.
fucking fuming. That was crazy.
I hope that that it was a different time then. I think like people, I had no like I wouldn't have known about those races then. Do you know what I mean? Like I think more people.
Oh, I did. I was deep in it.
Oh, you're an OG. No, yeah, like
Oh,
I
no,
hope,
I am that level of like I like my politics autism is dialed in. I'm right there.
I'm late to the table, but I hope I bring the vibes of the pop girly. So yeah, so shall we call it there and round it off on a nice an hour and a half? This has been an amazing chat though, team.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we have this every week because there's so much to talk about and it's great to get a chance to vent, chat. I hope you enjoyed it too. I've been following along and reading, and I'm sorry I didn't interact too much, but I see you all in there, especially the regulars. Thank you so much to you all. I am working on something big again. Finally, I can finally say so. I am going to be editing that and sending it out when it's ready. But to look forward to actually some new content from me on my channel. Anyone excited about that? Any final words? Anything else anyone wants to say before they head off?
I think this I'll just wrap up first. I think just because I feel like other people have more important things to say than I do. I think there's like a level to which like what you're going back at gets back to what you were saying, like because it's with the corporate people with the amount of corporate money the centrists and the DNC are spending, it really does prove that they are starting to coalesce. I mean they were always two sheets the same arse as we say in the UK, but like the red scare is coming from both parties, including the one where we're trying to grow a little foot in the door there. So but they're currently losing, so. Hopefully they will keep losing. I have a video coming out this week. It'll either be on Hank Green, if I still think it's worth saying, or it'll be on David Pacman. So either way, you'll get to laugh at someone.
Hell yeah.
I will go. Well, basically, I say keep your eyes on the election today. The world is watching. This is one of the biggest pro-Palestinian electoral movement as of right now. This is this is all our values, our movement proving we are the future. And I believe in these races. I believe in these candidates. I believe in our voices. So if we really do get this good news and we see that that's a message we sent to the higher ups, and you already know they're going to be afraid of us. They're going to be working overtime.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, stay excited. Checking a couple hours, 3-4 hours, and you'll probably know where we're at.
I love that. I love this crew. I love this podcast, and I love this trajectory. I love this trajectory for humanity. And I will just end with saying that to anyone listening, your actionable items are: one, remember these things, have a conversation with, let's say, at least 2 other people about these topics to get it out there, to shift the vibes, and also cancel one subscription service and pledge that money monthly to a campaign, a mutual aid campaign that
That's a
somebody
good one.
That's a good
give it
one.
to someone who actually needs it. We have 3 suggested ones in the description of this video if you are looking for people that you can support. But yeah, do that instead of giving money to the tech bros because they don't need any more.
Love to you all, everyone.
Love to you all, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we will hopefully see you next week at the same time. Don't hold us to that. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. Love to you all. Bye, bye, bye.